morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we are presenting webinar on Living with Hope in an Uncertain World, organized by Applied Science and Humanities Department of Parul Polytechnic Institute, Parul University. The main agenda of this webinar is to know about resilience, which is negatively correlated with indicators of mental ill-being such as depression, anxiety, and negative emotions, and positively correlated with positive indicators of mental health such as life satisfaction, subjective well-being, and positive emotions. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Carrie Atherton, from Queensland, Australia. She is the founder of Stories of Hope Australia or Worldwide and Empowers Life Solutions, a keynote speaker, author, event host, trauma and addictions recovery coach, and school program presenter. After planning suicide at 18, she walked through the doors of alcoholics and since that day, 39 years ago, has remained clean and sober. Over that past 30 years, she has worked in the business and community sector, helping those who are struggling with the issues of life and hope. She is moving to the Sunshine Coast 16 years ago. She has also worked in voluntary capacity in the community as well as mentor building connection and supporting people from all walks of life. Along with her husband, she founded a charity called Sweet Life, which ran for 6 years supporting the homeless and disadvantaged. 4 years ago, she founded the Stories of Hope Australia, a platform which runs monthly events bringing hope to the community and is now a published author, having just released the second book in her Stories of Hope Australia series, Resilient People Remarkable Stories. When the world went into the lockdown, she commenced stories of hope worldwide on online platforms sharing stories of hope along the world. She has also recently become the mental health first aid trainer, helping people to recognize the signs that someone may be experiencing a mental health crisis and how to assist them. In everything she does, her passion is to help prevent suicide and hopelessness and to bring hope to people in times of uncertainty in a rapidly changing world. Her thought for life is connection is vital for the human soul to flourish. Together is better, don't do life alone. It's a privilege to welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. Such an honor to speak at your university today.
Yes, and you can start with the session.
Thank you.
Uh,
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And are we doing a PowerPoint today?
that window.
Welcome back. Hello. Hello, Mr. Hemel. Welcome back. I don't know if anyone can hear me out there. Seems we're having a few technical issues.
Madam, you can start with the session.
Thank you. Welcome
Carry,
back.
madam.
Welcome back.
Yes,
Can you
yes,
hear me
yes.
now?
Yes, madam. We are
Yes.
here. You can start.
Well,
Yes.
thank you very much for having me. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So much was covered there about what I've been doing with my life since my recovery. And as you can see, yes, I am the founder of Stories of Hope Australia and Stories of Hope Worldwide, and an inspirational speaker, author, a trauma and addictions recovery coach, a counsellor, and an event presenter. But it wasn't always like that. My life was something that was surrounded by uncertainty. And today we're going to be talking about living with hope in an uncertain world. Next slide, please. So I grew up in the midst of uncertainty. I grew up with two alcoholic parents, and my mum suffered from depression and my dad suffered from a lot of fear. And that was the environment that I grew up in. My dad grew up with two alcoholic parents as well. And as a result of that, he was very afraid and suffered from severe anxiety. So growing up, those were two primary things that I knew very, very well. I knew a lot about fear, depression, anxiety, and a lot about uncertainty. And when I was 7 years old, I suffered my first very traumatic event. But between the ages of 7 and 9, I went on to go through two extremely traumatic events, which saw me end up in the care of a psychiatrist at the age of 9. And at 10 years old, that psychiatrist put me on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication because they thought that that would be the only option for me to be able to make it through my childhood. Such was my fear and anxiety and living in the midst of uncertainty. As a result of the trauma that I faced, I lived in the grip of debilitating fear, and I was also being bullied, so I couldn't determine the atmosphere at school either. School was an uncertain place for me. Even though I had very loving parents, home was a very uncertain place for me. And it wasn't until I was 15 when I tried alcohol for the first time that I thought that I had an answer to coping with uncertainty in life. And that was to basically blot out pain. There's a lot more to my story, which I won't go into today because I really want to share a message of hope with you all. And we're going through unprecedented times with COVID. We were rocked last year like never before. The world as we once knew it became a very different place. And last year, the statistics for mental health issues were 1 in 4. And over here in Australia recently, we've heard since COVID that the calls to all the helplines like Lifeline and Beyond Blue have doubled. So I would say that that figure is more up now, like 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 people that are suffering with mental health issues. As a result of the trauma and anxiety that I faced as a child, and then going into my years of addiction, I too suffered from mental health issues. I had a very, very debilitating battle with depression, and I was very suicidal growing up. Alcohol numbed the pain to a certain point, but then eventually it stopped working. The thing that I thought had become my best friend had turned its back on me. And I used alcohol for escapism because the pain was too great to live without having an anaesthetic to numb my emotions. Even though I had a family that loved me, I didn't feel loved. I felt very lonely. I felt very disconnected. And I'm going to be talking a bit later about the power of connection and the power of love and just what that can do to heal someone's soul. So I'll have the next slide, please. When the world is spinning out of control and everything is in life is uncertain, the one thing you can control is your thoughts. And this is something that I didn't learn for a very long time. Going back to my story, I hit my rock bottom when I was 18, and that was when I planned to end my life. I'd become that hopeless that I felt like I couldn't live anymore. I didn't want to die, as many people who are suicidal don't, but we just don't know how to live anymore. But on that day, I heard a loud voice say, "Don't do it. If you hang on a bit longer, you'll find happiness one day." And instead, I rang up a 12-step line and I went along to a meeting where there was caring people who had walked the journey before me, people who offered me hope. And since that day, I've remained sober. And as it was mentioned before, I've been sober now for 39 years. And it's been a wonderful journey, but it's a journey where I've had to learn how to manage my thoughts and uncomfortable feelings without having anything to take that away, like alcohol and substances. Last year when COVID hit, I went down a journey of declining mental health once again. And I have always been a person who has had great strategies in place. I've had great support groups. I've been able to manage my thinking, manage when I've felt depression coming on. I exercise, I play the piano. So I have lots of self-care strategies. But when COVID hit last year, I plummeted along with a lot of other people in the world. And there was 2 things missing for me last year when COVID hit. And they're the two things that have meant the most to me and helped me recover the most. And that is being able to spend time with my family and also my purpose. There's a saying that without a purpose, people perish. And without a vision, people perish. And we all need a vision to go on in life. We all need a goal. My purpose had become gathering people together, connecting with people, having people share their stories at events so that they could bring hope to the person that was still on the journey. And all of a sudden, events were stopped. So I wasn't able to connect with people. I wasn't able to experience that in-person connection. And I have family up here, but my son and daughter-in-law are in Sydney and my brothers, and not being able to see them and not knowing when I could see them again, the uncertainty of that was something that became too great for me, and a lot of fear started to set in. I felt myself starting to slip, and I didn't know if I could pull myself back out of that dark hole that I was in, which is something that I'd been able to do so many times before. I even thought about drinking, and to me that was a place I'd gone to that I hadn't been to before. So I took some steps, and they were small steps. I developed a bit of a routine. I thought even if I can only do one or two small things but do the same things every day, that would help me have some consistency. It would be a small goal that I could have to focus on instead of sitting there alone with my thoughts too much. I started seeing a counsellor again, and I'm a counsellor, but I encourage anybody that's in the realm of helping other people with mental health to receive help for themselves, because if we have an empty glass, we can't give anything out of that glass. We need to fill ourselves up to be able to support and help other people. And finally, the thoughts. Now, I'm going to talk a bit more about thoughts later, but thoughts control our feelings and feelings control our actions. And I was spending too much time thinking about the what ifs, what if this never changes, the fact that I can't do my purpose, I can't see my family. And before too long, those thoughts affected my feelings. I was feeling the feelings of sadness, anxiety, and fear far too much, and my actions were coming out of that. So next slide, please. So fear or love. Fear and love are the two primary emotions. And what I would like to do right now, and it's something that might surprise everyone, but I'd just like you just us to take 2 minutes to just stop and just think about what feelings or emotions have you come here with today, and really concentrate on what those emotions are that you are feeling. So we'll just stop for a couple of minutes, and I'd just like you to focus on that. So as we come back into this now, the key message that I want to bring to you today is that we can't control our circumstances, but we can control our thoughts. And I want to ask you today, are you living out of the emotions of fear or love? Because if your thoughts primarily are based on fear, and the other emotions that come out of fear is anger, guilt, shame, and anxiety. If you're feeling those things and your thoughts are primarily based on fear, that's what you're going to be feeling. But if you're if you're based your thoughts on love, you will be feeling joy and happiness. And this is something that I really had to focus hard on this time round with COVID, because I realised that I could not do the journey this time round the way I did it the last time round. I knew that something had to change, and what had to change was my thinking. So we need to really watch what our thoughts, because our thoughts become our words become our actions, and our actions become our habits. And it's impossible to experience both fear and love at the same time. So it's a choice of what do we choose. So as I said before, we can't control what's going on in the world around us today. We can't control COVID. We can't control the situation with vaccinations. And we can't control the people around us. I don't know what's happening over there in India, but over here in Australia, I'm hearing more and more stories of people that are losing friends and relationships over differences of opinion, over the opinion of whether people should be vaccinated or shouldn't be vaccinated. And we can't control that. But what we can control is our thoughts. And do we remain in a place of fear or love and acting out of that? Next slide, please. So another key message today that I'd love to bring is let your hope grow through your thoughts and let love grow through your actions. One of the things that is soul destroying is loneliness. And we know, those of us who work in the mental health field, that lack of connection is a precursor to suicide. And I want to bring a trigger warning today that we are talking about suicide and mental health. And we have Lifeline here in Australia. And if you feel triggered by this presentation today over in India or wherever you are in the world, please call your helpline. But this presentation is primarily to bring hope to you today. And we have the choice about whether we let hope grow through our thoughts or whether we let fear grow. So let love grow through your actions. That's a main key factor today for me in doing my life well, is making sure that if somebody doesn't treat me well, if I have a difference of opinion, that I do not form resentments. As soon as those negative thoughts come into my mind, I chuck them out because I don't like the way they make me feel. So by remaining very conscious and aware about what we're thinking and feeling, that will directly influence our choosing. And the middle word here is feelings. So thoughts, feelings, actions. Because often the first warning sign, and I see this with many, many clients that I counsel when I'm trying to talk to them about how they feel and how they think. Sometimes we don't even realise what we're thinking until we feel a negative feeling or emotion in our body. Usually it's a physical sensation in our body. That's usually the first indicator that our thinking's off. So by paying attention to how we're feeling in our body and what emotion we're feeling, that's a warning sign to us, if it's not good, that our thinking's off, that we need to change our thinking. Because if we don't change our thinking, then our actions will formulate out of that, and the chances are they won't be positive for us or for other people. Next slide, thank you. So love and hope, we need them to survive. When I hit rock bottom 4 years ago, my mum had passed away a few years earlier. I'd lost quite a few members of my family, all my relatives above me, and my dad had just died. My husband became very sick. And I was a leader in different things that I was doing in my life, and I took myself out of all my regular activities, which is a real warning sign that someone's not doing well mentally. And for about 6 weeks, I basically locked myself away, and I was in a very dark hole. And I didn't have much hope at all then. And I didn't really feel like I had much love in my life either. And I felt totally alone. And that's a terrible place to be. It's a really dark place to be. I didn't have many people contact me to check on me, and that was a really hard thing for me because I'm a real connector of people, and I felt very unloved. I went to a conference where I saw 3 people share their stories about how they'd come out the other side of hard times, and I had a light bulb go off that day that I couldn't let what I'd been through in my life be in vain, and that I wanted to use it for other people's gain. And I decided that if I could share my stories of how I'd come out the other side, then other people that were still on the journey would find hope. And I didn't want anybody else, if I could have anything to do with it, to have to do life alone like I felt I was alone at that time. So around that time, I started Stories of Hope Australia, and that was such an exciting moment for me. It was something that I felt was like my greatest purpose in life, outside being a mum and raising 2 amazing children. And it brought a lot of joy to me to be able to bring connection to other people. And we really do need love and hope. We need them both to survive. I don't think that they can exist without each other. And love and hope are the 2 things that we can really count on in life. There's love, faith, and hope. And faith is something that's really helped me through my journey, my faith in God as well. And everybody out there may believe in something else. And whatever you believe in that you have to anchor to, that is a great thing. But there's actually a verse in the Bible that talks about faith, hope, and love, and it says that love is the greatest. And I think that living in this uncertain world now, love is the thing that's going to be able to help every single one of us move forward. Next slide, please. So the power of love and connection, as I talk about this more, I can't actually talk about this enough. Loneliness is a byproduct of trauma. It is more common than we think. And this is a real message that I'd like to get out there to so many people, is that often the people that we suspect the least can be suffering the most. I have people say to me, oh, you cope with everything well, you shouldn't be going through a hard time, and oh, I didn't think that you'd be struggling. Well, I speak to many people who are in different positions of leadership, that are business owners, that are politicians. It doesn't matter who we are. Everybody struggles. And I think that that's something we need to be aware of on a human level, that we're all the same. We're all emotions in skin. When the lights go out at night, doesn't matter whether we're homeless living on the street, whether somebody is the CEO of an organisation, we're all the same, we're emotions in skin. So to know one of the greatest healing factors in trauma recovery is love and the power of human connection. To know we are not alone in our time of suffering brings great comfort and hope. Next slide, thank you. So these are some of the amazing people that have been on the hope journey with me. And every single one of these people has been through uncertain times like you would not believe. Some of these people have just suffered immensely, and yet they have gone on to find hope. One of the men there, third from the left in the black T-shirt, He is a former police investigator who worked on the largest murder investigation in Australia called the Daniel Morcombe murder investigation. And he was one of the leading detectives on that case. And he actually had to leave the police force because of PTSD. And his life became so uncertain and so hopeless that he didn't know if he could even walk to his letterbox to get the mail each day. That was a small goal that he set. And now he's a safety officer of a huge organisation that's working all around the world. There's another guy there with a red cap who became homeless because he had a family of 6. He had 4 children. And rental became really hard in Australia, and he was knocked back because his family was larger than the normal family. And even though he had a job, he found himself homeless and hopeless. And he was actually homeless for about 4 or 5 years. Another man on the end there with the brown shirt, he was diagnosed with the world's rarest cancer. And he was given 3 months to live. And that was 6 years ago. So these people have faced terrible uncertainty in life, and they've come out the other side. And the things that have helped them come out the other side are the very things that I've talked about today. It's finding a group of supportive people that love and care about them, surrounding themselves with like-minded people and people who they admire the journey of. People who are positive, people who choose love over fear. Every day they woke up, they had something to fear. One of those men in there has been living with a traumatic brain injury after a bike accident. Every morning when he woke up, he could have chosen to fear, but instead he chose love and hope. Next slide, please. So this is something that's really helped me. I have to tell myself this so often because growing up debilitated with so much fear, I mean, I couldn't open my bedroom window at night until I was 25 years old because of the thing that I had been through when I was younger. And I didn't stay in my own home on my own until two or 3 years ago. And whenever fear has tried to hit me, like I manage the fear these days, but it's always there lurking in the background trying to get me again. And something that I have to tell myself, and I would say this to you as well, don't be sold the lie that your current circumstances will be your reality forever. Because this too shall pass. And everything that I've been through, everything that those people, and that's just a few of the hundreds of people that I've had share stories of hope and that I've met over my time doing this. All of those people could have easily been sold the lie that their current circumstances would be their reality forever. But in every single situation, something changed, and this too shall pass. 99.9% of the things we worry about never happen. So that's another thing that I continually tell myself. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And that's another great thing to remember. So whenever fear knocks at the door, I tell myself those 3 things. False evidence appearing real, 99.9% of the things that we worry about never happen, and this too shall pass. Next slide, please. So in order to move forward from trauma, there's a key action, and that is acceptance. And acceptance is very hard to come to terms with. But the people that I have experienced and done life with and helped through counselling and events and speaking, and heard the stories of, the ones that actually move forward with joy in their life are the ones that are able to accept the situations that they've been through. Every single speaker that I've had, despite what they've been through, has said that they wouldn't change a thing because it led them to their greatest purpose ever. Now, when my mum was diagnosed with cancer, I knew that I had a very, very difficult, our family had a very difficult journey ahead of us. And I learnt a lot about acceptance and a lot about thinking that it's not what if things were different, that it's what is. This is what we were dealing with, and that was what we had to accept. And I made a decision when she was first diagnosed with cancer. I thought, I have to go through this journey. And as painful as it is, I can either do the journey well or I can do the journey badly. And badly for me was falling to pieces, not being able to function for the other responsibilities in my life, which were many, including being a mum, being a wife, my job, the community groups that I was helping run, myself, my own interests. So I decided then that I was just going to cross only a bridge that I had to cross, and I was not going to cross that bridge before it came, because it may never have come. And that was when I learned about acceptance to be able to move forward. So often the things that are the stumbling blocks to us experiencing joy in our present life is either living in the past or the fear of the future. If we do either, we cannot find peace in this current situation. And mindfulness is a wonderful tool for bringing us back to the current here and now. But in the 12-step program, the saying that we lived our life by and I still live my life by is one day at a time. And sometimes that gets down to 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. But usually one day at a time, I'm okay with that. But something that I cannot afford the luxury of is going back into the past. Whenever we live in the past, we remain stuck. We can never move forward. And the only key to change is accepting the situation that we're currently facing. And I would say that that would be a big message here with COVID. We can't base the future on what happened last year because it may be very different. Things are changing from day to day. And often the greatest trauma is reliving the pain of the past. If we ask ourselves, am I safe today? Am I okay today? Can I find joy today? Can I find peace and happiness today? Can I find something to be grateful for today? Often the answer is yes. But whenever we live in the trauma of the past, we're just triggered back there again and again, bringing us into turmoil in the present here and now. So that's a key message there. And the key message again, let your hope grow through your thoughts, let your love grow through your actions. We can't change our circumstances, but we can control our thoughts. Next slide, please. So these are some more of the messages of hope that I'm connected to. And this is some of the events that I have run. And having this group of people, being surrounded by this group of people is just so amazing to be able to do life with so many of these champions. The guy in the middle there with the white shirt and the Stories of Hope sign, he fought in Afghanistan and he saw some terrible tragedy and trauma over there when he was fighting in Afghanistan, and he had to leave with PTSD. And he has gone on to do amazing things now. He runs an organisation called Invisible Injuries. And the whole idea with that is that PTSD is an injury to the mind. And so often with mental health, we can walk around and we can have injury and sickness and trauma going on in our mind. And because people can't see it, it's wiped under the carpet. It's not noticed like you would notice someone with a broken arm or someone on crutches. So mental health is often an invisible illness, and he runs invisible injuries. So raising awareness and bringing hope and connection and love to people that are going through PTSD. There's another amazing lady on the end there with the dress on at the other Stories of Hope sign. And she became so hopeless one day that she jumped off the bridge in her city to end her life, and miraculously she survived. And today she spends her life and her work and her purpose now is helping people that are going through mental health problems find hope and hold on for another day, and offering them strategies to bring them support in their mind and in their emotions. And the work that she's done has helped save so many lives. So we were designed to help each other, even when we are going through hard times. And that's something that I would say to everyone, and something I had to learn. So often we can think that we've got to wait till we're healed, we're perfect, we've got it all together, we have no problems. But we were actually designed as humans to help each other, even when we're going through hard times. And sometimes, that's the time when I'm called on to help people the most, is in the middle of my own difficulty. But the joy that comes from showing love and being able to help somebody and put myself aside for a short period of time is something that really brings great healing to the soul. And money can't buy that feeling. Next slide, thank you. So as I wrap up now, I would like to say to everyone that today is the first day of the rest of your life, and the rest of your life can be much greater than the past. I love this saying, and it's something that I say to all my clients and to everyone else, because I suffered from a lot of shame as a result of the things that happened to me in my addiction days as an alcoholic girl. I speak to a lot of people in the 12-step programs that have been addicted to substances and alcohol and have done many things that they're ashamed of. I speak to many victims of sexual assault and victims of violence and people that are feeling ashamed. I speak to many people that have been through a lot of trauma that think my life's defined by my past. I can't move forward, but that's a lie. The truth is that we can move forward and that the past is gone. We can't do anything about the past. It doesn't define us. It merely shapes us, and we can use it to let us be shaped into wonderful, wonderful, amazing people that are living out our purpose and helping other people do the same. So today is the first day of the rest of your life, and the rest of your life can be much greater than the past. And I'd just like the next slide, thank you. So this is just a picture of me with one of my books, and this is the first book. Those 12 people that you saw at the beginning, they're all in that book, and I have another 12 stories of other resilient, amazing people in my second book. You can get in touch with me at www.storiesofhope.com.au, and please remember that there is always hope. And again, let your hope grow through your thoughts, and let your love grow through your actions. Thank you for having me share today.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello.
Questions?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. It was very interesting session. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah. The first question is, how you guide people who come to you with negative thoughts in life, ma'am?
How do I guide people that come to me with negative thoughts in life? Is that right? I think the thing is what I got back to here about the thoughts. So when I use cognitive behavior therapy, and that's really concentrating on the thoughts, feelings, and actions, and also identifying
Yes, ma'am.
negative core beliefs that defeat us through our life, and identifying what they are, and helping people to identify the triggers. Can you hear me okay there? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Sorry, yeah, I couldn't hear anything then.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I can hear that, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And the second one is, how can we control our thoughts? You talked about controlling the thoughts, right? So, which are the some ways that would help us to control our thoughts?
So how can we control our thoughts? It's getting, you see, it's training people to be aware of their feelings, because often that's, as I talked about, that's the first indication that something's not right. I have people come to me for counselling and they say, I'm waking up in the middle of the night with anxiety in my stomach, or my heart's pounding, or I have a headache, or I feel sick. And often that is coming from anxiety. If it's not a medical,
How can we control our thoughts, ma'am?
can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
There is one question in chat box. One question is there in the chat box.
How can we control our thoughts? Do social connections help us to stay positive? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent. So we can control our thoughts. It all depends. I mean, some people do need medication to help control their thoughts. If they have been battling a mental health condition, on some occasions, people aren't able to get their thoughts in control on their own, and in those situations, they may need medication to help them with their thought processes if they're suffering from anxiety or depression. But we all have been given, if you're not battling a mental health condition, then it's a matter of choosing positive over negative. It's a matter of being aware of the thoughts that are coming in. It's also a matter of being aware of what are we feeding into our thoughts. What are we watching on television? What are we listening to?
Yes.
What people are we spending time with?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Madam, you can continue. Madam. Yes, carry, madam. You can continue. Yes.
Do social connections help us to stay positive? 100% they do. Definitely. That's a very, very, very big key to staying positive, is being socially connected.
Third question is there. How resilient help us?
Well, resilience is something that we build through going through difficult times. And I think that you'll all agree that once we have experienced something, that gives us the strength to be able to manage that situation should we face that again. Resilience is something that really only is built through hard times, I think. But it's something that we can call upon again as evidence that we've overcome a difficult thing in the past, and that means that we can overcome the next difficult thing that comes our way in the future. And I think we can build resilience too by purposely putting ourselves into challenging situations that cause us to grow, because whenever we grow, we build resilience.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We've got some technical problems, haven't we?
Yeah. There was some technical issue from my side.
Yeah.
No worries, ma'am. You also talked about that you help out the people, right, who have negative thoughts in their life. Can you give some advice for that? How do you help them?
For the people that have bad thoughts, did you say?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I think bad thoughts are negative thoughts are they're habits. They're built based around negative situations, core beliefs when we're growing up. We call them self-defeating beliefs, because when those things are triggered, they cause a bad emotional response in us. Now, we all have the ability, unless I said before somebody has developed a mental health, a severe mental health illness, but we have the ability to actually change our thoughts. Now, if you think about it, like I'm over 50, so I've been thinking the same way for a long time until I realize I need to start thinking differently. So it actually takes 63 days to totally change a thought and get rid of the old thought. There's a saying that it takes 21 days to build a new habit, and it's true with building a new thought. But if we want to get rid of the old thought and replace it with a new thought, the whole process takes about 63 days of practicing the new thought And while we're doing that, the old thought is starting to diminish and get less and less.
The whole process is of 63 days, right?
Sorry?
The whole process is for 63 days.
63 days, that's right.
Yes.
And if you want to send me a message, I can talk about that more with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are some steps within this 63 days that will help us to remove the negative thoughts, right?
Yeah. So it's finding the negative thought, or we call them the negative tapes as well. So we all have them, and they're the things that cause us to feel anxiety, fear, or anger, or shame. And we all have about 3 or 4 different things that go on and on and on all the time. They come and, niggle at us. And it's identifying, okay, what is it that I'm not feeling good now? What am I thinking? And it's getting in touch with what thought is making us feel this way, and then identifying that as a self-defeating thought or belief that we might have, and telling ourselves a new story. So a new perception about that situation, and keeping on telling yourself a new story about that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have ended with the question answer session. Thank you so much for joining with us. It was very kind talking with you and listening the stories that the people are suffering right now and how we are helping them to come out of that situation. That is very kind of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I would like to thank you, the head of our department, Mr. Amal Patel, sir, the HR of our institute, Professor Jatin Vaidya, sir, the academic director, Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, sir, and the president of the university, Dr. Devanshu Patel, sir, for motivating and supporting us for conducting this webinar. And last but not the least, I would like to thank you all the participants who are assembled here today for this webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.